Hey, you're listening to No Limits, episode 66.2, because this should have been 67, but we missed a recording. And I
We didn't
actually
miss
should
it.
be recording locals right now, which I just started recording. So let's hit the intro now. Thanks, Sam. Hello, everyone. You're listening to No Limits, a PlayStation podcast. My name is Taylor, and I'm joined by my co-hosts, Brianna. She's back after taking an extended hiatus due to a strange relationship with us.
That's true. I was very appalled at the way that you guys were acting. I'm just kidding.
Sam's wearing a neck scarf.
Is it a neck scarf?
Inside.
What would you call it, Sam, if it's not a neck scarf?
That is a very good question. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Maybe like a snood, you know? Like
There is actually a name for it. I just can't
the
remember
gator
it.
skin. I think this
because
is
it's not quite like it's not like a bandana. I mean, it kind of is like a bandana type thing, but it is.
Is this
just
when
like
people who deny COVID but have to put on masks? That's what you're wearing. People who deny COVID but have to put on masks. They put that on their nose. And
they're usually called a windbreaker or like icebreaker.
Well, I call it a neck scarf. Where else does a scarf go? It goes in your neck.
It's a ski mask essentially.
Oh, Sam's gonna rob a bank. Okay. And if you want to see Sam rob more banks, remember you can find the video version of this podcast over on youtube.com/SaveTheGameMedia every Tuesday. While you're over there, make sure to subscribe to the channel.
Also,
if you'd rather listen up.
I'll keep going. No, keep going.
No, interrupt.
No, I just was thinking about your introduction last time. Yes, it was the Middle East.
Oh yeah, Jordan is the Middle East. God, I knew it.
Yes. I couldn't stop laughing when I was listening. I was like, my God.
Because if you say Iran's in the Middle East, there's issue.
Well, Jordan is for sure in the Middle East.
Yeah.
Probably like less than a mile from the border with Israel. So.
And Israel is... We know about Israel. Okay, if you'd rather listen on audio... We are on all your favorite podcast services, and we'd love it if you leave us a review. It helps us grow, and we would love all feedback. If you want to support us and get early access to all Save the Game Media content, head over to patreon.com/SaveTheGameMedia and choose the tier that's right for you, just like our current patrons did. Bucky Blue, Amon, Fabulous Brianna, Brianna's mom, Brianna's brother, Brianna's wife, Nikolai Knight, Cypher Primus, Brenton Myers, Marcus O'Neill, Lillian, Mimi J, The Snack Network, David Hotwright, Dave Harp, the Xbox Expansion Pass, Alpacaton, Lee Navarre, the fearless leader of the Phoenix Overdrive Extra Life team. Speaking of Lee Navarro and Phoenix Overdrive, Kevin Ainsworth and I think Brandon from Frame by Frame and Kevin's brother Kyle, at least me and Kevin for sure,
the host of Anime Cast,
anime, will be in Rome, New York next weekend, November 3rd through November 4th, raising money for sick children by playing, actually that's November 4th through November 5th, playing video games for 25 hours straight. It would be 24, but we have a daylight savings to standard time change. All right. So please support us there. Help us raise money for sick kids.
I do also want to add that I'll be streaming with you guys. I'm just not there.
Bree's going to be streaming with us. Let's see if we can't set it up to make it so we're squad streaming.
You have to have... Anyways, we can talk about it offline. There's some requirements that I doubt either of our Twitches have.
So. Okay. All right.
Listen, I don't make the rules. Twitch does.
If you want to win as part of Extra Life,
19 inches.
19 inches of Venom, the collector's edition of Spider-Man 2, you will be entered to win. For every $10 you donate, you get one entry. Sam's pointing to it right now. It's in the dark.
He's pointing to 19 inches.
He's pointing to 19 inches. You can bring them home and do whatever you want with them. And it's great. It's great. So, win Spider-Man 2. Help raise money for kids with sickness. Play some video games. Watch some video games. Extra Life next weekend. Links are all in the show notes. Speaking of, I need to do some registration stuff on my end still, even though we're only a week out because I'm a little piss boy. So, Yeah, and hang out with us in the Discord. It's where we talk and complain and get excited.
Mm-hmm.
So, Bree, did you play anything when you were in the Middle East?
Would you not believe it? I beat not one, but 2 games.
Sam can't believe it. He can't believe it's not butter, really.
It's true. It's true. I beat 2 games. I'm very proud of myself. I did play a 3rd game and I subsequently dropped it because it just wasn't for me. It's not a bad game. So the game that I dropped is Have a Nice Death. Um I thought it was great. Like it was really polished game. It had great personality. Um it's a really good game. I just the more the more I play like that genre of game, um I, I just I don't think I love roguelikes. I think it has to be a very specific roguelike for me to enjoy it. Um so yeah, I was just getting really frustrated with it, so I dropped it. The other 2 games I played, Witchy Life Story that just came out. It was a pretty short game. It was really cute. It was more like just like cozy season kind of game. It was good. And then the other one I beat is Chance of Sonar, which as of right now is number 3 on my list of like top 10 games for the year. So,
Of the year or all time?
no, of the year. I don't my favorite games of all time. I feel like that would be a nightmare.
Well, it's a post-show
You have to
topic.
do it sooner or later, won't you?
Yeah. I don't want to think about it. Anyway, so yes, so I did beat all 3. Chance of Sonar was really quite a special experience. Especially like being in the Middle East and it's like very like Middle Eastern inspired. It was really cool because like I was seeing very similar like scenery as like what's depicted in the game in real life. So that was really cool. I do have to give a special shout out to this one very specific PlayStation experience I had. So I was in charge of music when we went out to Wadi Rum, which is like uh, a desert that's pretty famous. It's in a lot of movies. I think it was in like the most recent John Wick. It's in Star Wars. Yeah, it's just like in a bunch of different films. But when we went to Wadi Rum and we were driving up there, the track for Alfheim from Ragnarok happened to play, and that was so cool. That was really cool because it's like very like deserty, like cool vibes. Oh, it was so cool driving through Wadi Rum like with that playing. So special shout out on that PlayStation experience. But that's it. Besides a bunch of random TV shows I watched. What have you guys been up to?
Well, that's awesome.
Thank you.
Me?
Sure.
Anyone?
Well,
Take it away.
I'm back in my apartment.
Yay!
I cannot live here again. Thank God. Isn't that right, Toph? She's sleeping.
I mean, she seemed to really like the hotel. I don't know.
She did like the hotel, unfortunately. She was rolling around the carpet, doing all. She was scratching furniture. She shouldn't have been scratching. She's a cat, and I bought her a scratch pad for $10 at the Target next door. I'm like, Toph, I'm dealing with the damage bill. All right. If I got a damage bill, right, to pick between paying that or giving Toph away, of course I give Toph away. You know, so
Whatever.
all right, as any good owner would. Okay, I failed to mention last week. I saw Killers of the Flower Moon on opening night. Actually, it might have been the day after. But, well, number 1, very good film. Number 2, I don't know if you guys remember, like a few months ago, I saw Lily Gladstone in person during a showing of an indie film called The Unknown Country, where she was the lead.
Mm.
So, anyway, excellent film. For listeners who don't know, probably seeing some buzz about it because anything Martin Scorsese touches will gain notoriety. It's a true story. It's a historical crime, called historical crime drama, based on the Osage Native American peoples who found oil in their land, and this is in Oklahoma, and they discovered their land was filled with oil that could be harvested for sale, for industrial fuel, and just oil in post-American industrial revolution in the early 20th century. The story took place 1920, but the Osage people were a bit unique in that they gained a lot of wealth very quickly after discovering their oil stores, and they were driving around in like cars. If you had a car in 1920, like you were doing well. If you owned a car, nice jewelry, nice clothing. They all had homes, like nice homes. And Robert De Niro plays a man named William Hale who goes in and tries to marry in white men to these Native American families and then kill the Native American women and or children in an effort to take the oil land and oil money inheritance away and shift it towards the white population. So it is not an uplifting movie, unfortunately, as a lot of Native American to white interactions are not uplifting. But I thought it was very well done. And yeah, now I feel like I should read the book. It was a book first, Killers of the Flower Moon. And the author who wrote it spent like his whole life, a ton of years researching it. Like it made it one of his life's works in terms of his research efforts. So yeah, Lily Gladstone plays Native American named Molly, who's part of the community, and Leonardo DiCaprio plays a guy named Ernest, who is the uncle of Robert De Niro's character, the all-powerful white tycoon. So, yep, and it's about their dynamic and how the events are portrayed through their eyes before the FBI shows up. And played by Jesse Plemons, best FBI agent, who's married to Kirsten Dunst. All right. Kirsten Dunst, the Mary Jane of my childhood, of course. Anyway, I've also been playing Spider-Man 2. All right. It appears this is an excellent game for some reason. But it is. It is. Oh, one thing I got to say. I'm finding myself not switching suits much because Advanced Suit 2.0 in the default color scheme might be my favorite Spider-Man suit I've ever seen. The red is so much better than the first Advanced Suit. It looks like the first Advanced Suit. You know when you have a really bad old like laptop screen or old like bad LCD panel and the colors just look washed out?
Mm-hmm.
That's what the shade of red on the first Advanced Suit looks like now.
Yeah.
They've just made it much more saturated, turned up the brightness on Advanced Suit 2.0. It just looks better. And I've played this on hotel TV from like 2010 and nice 4K TV from like last year. And in both instances, it's noticeable. So, yeah. And crazy things are happening. And I'm here for it. So I don't think I'll finish. I want to finish the main story before I leave for Rome. I just don't play games at that. I don't like to speed up the pace I play games. So I'm playing at my pace. I'm about 44% through the main story, according to the little progress icon on the home screen of PS5. So yeah, I'm loving the traversal. Getting all the traversal perks.
Yeah.
I might have invested a little bit too heavily in one side of Peter Skilltrue and the other side is blurred out right now, because I'm going to guess it's symbiote powers. And I'm like kind of kicking myself. Maybe I should have saved my points for that, but I got a perk that lets me shock people more. So on the Peter side, which is not something he has easy access to, unlike bioelectric powers like Miles does.
Yeah.
Yeah. And love learning more about Flint Marko.
Mm-hmm.
Good old
Sandman.
I love Sandman. He's the man.
Yeah, because you hadn't started playing last recording, had you?
No. Okay, 44% main story in a week. That's pretty good for Taylor. Okay.
Yeah.
That is really good.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be
what an opening, What an opening.
Yeah, I'm not going to say what happens, but man, what an opening.
Whew.
It is like for a good hour, you are just full throttle.
Mm-hmm.
It's great.
Insomniac know what they're doing, man. You know.
Shocking.
I suppose transition to me. I've been playing Spider-Man 2 to help wrap up coverage. Still having a great time. On my way to 100%ing it for the third time.
What?
Well, I mean, I 100%ed it in my leisurely playthrough before I started working on it, and then I had to do it again to know, you know, what level, what suit unlocks, how much things cost to upgrade, when do certain missions become available in the open world, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I had to 100% it a second time, and now I'm just going through it again leisurely. That was until a few days ago when Alan Wake 2 came out. Context-wise, I played the original Alan Wake not long after it came out back in the day. Liked it, didn't love it. And then, you know, in recent years, Remedy put out Control, which I adore. I think Control is an excellent game. And I still wasn't sold on Alan Wake 2. I was sort of like, I'm interested, but it's not like it's not a guaranteed purchase. Then I started seeing the reviews, and they were like, it's Remedy's best game. If you loved Control, you're going to love this. And I was like, I can't not at this point. So I'm about 8 or 9 hours in. I think I'm like a little over halfway. And it's real good.
Awesome.
I'm curious,
very
like,
good.
It feels like Control and Alan Wake are very different games. I understand that they kind of exist in the same universe, but like the concept just feels very different.
I haven't played either of them. Alan Wake Remastered and Control Ultimate Edition are both in my PS Plus library.
Play Control, man. Play
Control is so good.
They're both on my list. And Cyberpunk.
I have one complaint about Control, and that's literally it. The rest of the game is perfect.
What's the complaint?
Is it
that
spoilery?
you can't walk away from audio recordings.
Why would you want to walk away? I love audio recordings in any game. I love to
No,
mark
I
them.
want them
to have them
playing.
continue to play as
you have to stand right there, and you can't move or do anything.
I'm with you on that.
Drives
but apart
me...
from that, it's nearly perfect. Yeah, no, they are very different games. And I will say, you know, we were talking about it just before we started recording. Alan Wake 2 is, as you said, it's all part of a universe. So like Alan Wake, Control, Alan Wake 2, it's all linking together in abstract ways. As you play Control, Bree, you know how obscure and weird that they are.
So good.
How ambiguous everything is, and that continues here. It's not a spoiler, but for instance, early on in Alan Wake 2, you run into some Federal Bureau of Control agents out in the world, like examining, investigating things. It's not Jesse or anything. It's not like that overt of a reference, but like
Jesse Pinkman.
Say, yeah, that one. Yeah, from Breaking Bad.
I assume you're talking. That's a protagonist name of Control.
Transitioned out of the meth business into examining paranormal.
Not in the meth business. It's laundry.
Yeah. Sorry. Yes, that's right. Yes. So Alan Wake was kind of like a third-person horror shooter, I guess, is the best way you could describe it. Control is, a third-person
action
cerebral action thriller with horror elements.
Telepathy.
There's a whole lot of
Control
stuff.
Control is does so much that's so unique to the game.
Yeah,
it's hard to.
The thing that I and I haven't finished it, so I can't like definitively say, but the thing that Alan Wake 2 reminds me the most of is actually Resident Evil 2 remake.
Interesting. Okay.
Like they said, Sam Lake said practically from the reveal of Alan Wake 2 that it is survival horror. Like it's not like the first Alan Wake where you have typically high amounts of ammunition and plenty of supplies, and you can sort of manage to get out of most encounters relatively unscathed. Not only is it leading into the more psychological, scary, spoopy stuff, but you are like really low on resources. In the same way in like RE2, if you aren't careful with resource management, you are going to find yourself struggling to get past certain spots. But you're just on that fine line of not being completely helpless, but feeling like, thank God I survived X. It's incredibly strong. In the past couple of hours of playing it, to where I am now, there is a section, I won't spoil it, but I think it's legitimately probably one of the single coolest things I've ever done / experienced in any game. Bree, you know the ashtray maze.
Yes, I do.
Imagine that dialed up to like 40.
Oh wow.
Like
Okay.
the ashtray maze is already dialed up to like an 11 at least. But yeah, they knew that they had something with that, and they quadruple down on it.
So why are we taking mazes through ashtrays? This is what I want to know.
You're gonna have to play Control to find out.
I'll have to play Control to find out. I have the Ultimate Edition. I confirmed it just on my phone now. It's the Ultimate Edition.
To play it.
So I have to play the expansions too, of course. Oh wait, should I play it? All right. Order of events. Should I play Control, then Alan Wake Remastered, then Alan Wake 2? I feel like this would be. Well, no, but then I would. But the Alan Wake expansion, I feel like I would appreciate more if I play Alan Wake Remastered first.
I would play Alan Wake Remaster first. It's just not as polished of a game, and going from like Control to Alan Wake Remaster would be kind of a jarring experience, I think.
Okay, Alan Wake Remastered, Control, Alan Wake 2. This is the way.
That would be my recommendation.
You can. I mean, I replayed in the past week actually Alan Wake Remastered because I never actually fully finished it back in the day. I got through it in like 8-9 hours. So you can get through it relatively quickly, obviously depending on play sessions and stuff. But you can kind of beeline it in that game, and then you'll probably lose yourself in Control if you're anything like us. Like I just did every single possible thing in Control, and I've done it multiple times. And I could see that being the case with Alan Wake 2 as well.
I think Control is very much my kind of game. I love to Prey.
Yeah, if you like any kind of cerebral, psychological, really thematic, artistic, stylistic stuff.
Yes, Sam, I like PlayStation exclusives, okay?
Speaking of, I have been banging the drum for a long time that people I think are underappreciating the potential value of someone acquiring Remedy would be, and that has only increased with me playing Alan Wake 2. I think.
You think PlayStation's going to pick them up?
I think somebody is going to, and if they don't, I think it's one of the biggest missed opportunities. Whoever gets them is going to be incredibly lucky. And
10 cents.
Don't say something like that. Don't know about resistance.
Wrong kind of manifesting, Taylor.
I think the talent of that studio and the IP and the storytelling stuff that they're doing, it's unrivaled in a lot of ways, and it's very refreshing and new and unique. So they're a get wherever they are, but of course, I would love for PlayStation to pick them up. Time will tell, though. We'll see. They should do it though.
Before we move on, really quick, were you going to ask a question about that? Go ahead.
But Sam, you hate acquisitions.
I do, but again, we're in the era now where it has to happen. The floodgates have opened, so we've let the other team do it. I'm not happy about it, but I'm saying that they need to do it. And to get a talented team, which is what Sony focus on, the talent as opposed to the IP, get the talent of Remedy, bring them in-house.
But then they'll know the IP. Oh, or just steal the best developers. They could just do that.
That's what I'm saying. In the same way that I think it's worthwhile Sony getting in a dream world something like FromSoft or even CD Projekt Red.
I'm gonna play Cyberpunk. I'm very excited to play it and Phantom Liberty eventually.
Particularly because Xbox are getting all the RPG studios in the Western area anyway. Get CD Projekt in, you know. Anyway, that's a completely different conversation.
Get Lords of the Fallen.
Alan Wake 2 is very, very good.
Don't get Lords of the Fallen. That game sucks. I don't care what anyone says. All right.
Damn.
What? Immortals of Avium, whatever it's called. Nope.
It's fine.
The Surge,
It's all right.
Hollow Knight is the only Souls-like that gets the pass. And Neo, that isn't made by FromSoft. This is my gatekeeping moment.
I mean, Lies of P is pretty good as well.
Oh, a PP, yeah. Okay, we should probably talk about news.
Yeah.
All right, let's get. I'm not going to say it
every time.
I've been talking so much these past couple weeks, and Therefore, I'm going to talk about the first story because I'm selfish. Okay, so Sony's been defending the price increases to PS Plus. In a recent interview, Sony said, "We want to make PlayStation great." This comes to us from their head of global marketing and SIE's senior VP, Eric Lempel. He said, "We want to make PlayStation Plus great. With a reboot last year, introducing the tier system, a lot of consumers have recognized that there's a lot of value in PS5. And something particularly interesting," wow, I can't speak English. Interesting, he said, was, I'm going to skip over a couple of the quotes because they're really marketing BS. But when he said, "Since we introduced the tiers, we have seen a third of our PlayStation Plus user base opt for the upper two tiers, which is more than we had expected." I didn't realize the margin, I guess. And this comes off of, like, for listeners who don't know, there over the past few months, I think September is when it went into effect, or October, early October. There was a price increase to all tiers of PlayStation Plus, which increased the essential, extra, and premium all tiers by $20 to $40 a year, depending on the chosen plan. And so, yeah, but I was surprised to hear from this interview that it's only a third are in the upper two tiers. I thought it would have been more. I guess I just didn't have fully in perspective how much more popular PlayStation Plus Essential used to be. Well, I guess there's also lag because people haven't converted, and a lot of people probably aren't aware that tiers exist because the guys who just put on Call of Duty and FIFA and Madden all, they don't really care. But yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think?
I can't say I'm surprised. I'm almost surprised that it's as high as a third, because that's not an inconsequential amount. That is, it's a third that are in the higher tiers. I think, like, one thought that crossed my mind when I saw this news was maybe, I mean, it's probably what you were saying about either people not knowing tiers or people, in financial current situations needing to scale back or whatever. But I also think there might be something to the fact that just the ecosystem of PlayStation in general still typically across the board requires a la carte full price purchases for the majority of the games coming to the platform. And that just isn't the case with something like Xbox and Game Pass. So particularly if we're talking financially, if consumers are having to spend full price on X amount of games a month or a year or whatever, they might be therefore disinclined to opt into the higher tiers of a subscription service because they're already investing that much more into even just one game on the platform than you might do on a competing service. Because I don't know what the margins are for Game Pass, to be honest. Like how many of Game Pass subscribers are on Ultimate. I don't know what the comparison is. I'd imagine it's probably higher than third, maybe. I don't know if it's comparable or not. I'm not sure, but I can't say I'm particularly surprised that it's a third.
I feel like being a third makes sense to me. I would be curious to know like what they thought it would be as compared to, because they said which was more than we had expected. But I'm wondering like what their like I would be curious to know what their expectations were. I mean the thing is so one of the quotes that we kind of skipped over that's like kind of marketing is like the like practically everything else we have to look at our pricing and adjust to market conditions. And like I get it, like everybody's doing that. But at what point does it stop? Because it's kind of like, in my opinion, getting really frustrating because it's like Netflix has in the past, like, I mean, when I worked for Netflix, I worked there 3 years and I think there were 3 or 4 price increases during my time working there. And since I've stopped working there, which has been quite some time, it's just continued, right? Price increase, price increase, price increase. And that's just like one example. And I understand that the markets change and stuff like that, but I'm just concerned that not just like PlayStation, but like all of these services are just going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing. And I almost want to push back on like maybe not PlayStation particularly, but like how much is this market and how much is this greed? So I'm just curious.
I'll push back on them particularly. Yeah, I'm gonna say it's mainly greed. All right, they make so much money. They increase the price of their games by 16% overnight. Okay, for the new generation, they make so much money from the momentum from PS4. They don't need to do this. I think they're doing it because they can.
Yeah, and the thing is like how many times does this happen?
I'm gonna
because
say,
like what stops companies from doing this? Like people unsubscribing, but then it's too late, right? Like they're not going to roll back the price increase.
They rely on people forgetting they have a recurring payment, and then quietly they have deduction from the bank account on a yearly or monthly basis. So I don't know. From the console companies, I see it happening at this point, every 3 to 4 years, I think would be realistic. I said realistic for what I would expect the company to do. That doesn't mean I think it's reasonable. I just think every 3 to 4 years, these console subscription or Game Pass and PS Plus will raise their prices on that interval.
I think that's being optimistic on the Game Pass front. I mean, they're absorbing Call of Duty.
Oh, right. They're absorbing Call of Duty, so they can just do it again. Well, so they can do it anytime, but they have more justification to do it again sooner.
Yeah, I think Game Pass is going to get exponentially more expensive over the next 2 years, if that. Personally, because they have the entire ADK pipeline that they have to finance that aren't going to be a la carte game sales for a fair number of titles. Diminished income in general. So, and they have to fund all the other first party stuff, which is also day one Game Pass. Of course, it's greed, but I think it ultimately, even if whether the price increase is coming from PlayStation or from Xbox or both or whatever, I'm far less angry at PlayStation than I am at Xbox, because Xbox, their entire strategy is focused on Game Pass. So you don't really have another option on Xbox. Whereas, not that it would ever happen, but hypothetically, PlayStation could tone down or even completely switch off PlayStation Plus, and they would still have the core mechanics of how their ecosystem functions.
Yeah.
Xbox can't do that. So they're kind of going to be pigeonholing their customers into, you have to, I mean, you could even say it's the case now, but like, you have to be subscribed to Game Pass, and you're at the mercy of what we decide the prices are.
Do you think that with these increases, the Xbox is going to diversify their like plans more? So like they'll have more tiers, because I'm almost wondering if they're going to like kind of almost like accordion it, where it's like they have like 5 tiers, and then in another year they'll go back down to 3 tiers, and then so that way they're like increasing, but it doesn't seem as scary because there's more tiers, and then they like squish back down again. And
I mean, I raised this with Kevin, host of Project X Talk, a while back in the Discord. I said that Xbox are getting so large and have now multiple publishers underneath them, where it almost is a no-brainer to make it whereby you have specific subscription tiers that are exclusive to a given publisher under their umbrella. So say you want the entire Bethesda catalog, including day one, there is a Bethesda specific Game Pass tier, or it might not even be called Game Pass, but a tier that you subscribe to and you get the Bethesda content. You want the Activision Blizzard stuff, you have a separate thing to that. So then you can either subscribe to one, you can subscribe to both separately, or you can subscribe to multiple in a conjoined deal that is potentially more, cost efficient.
Save $2 a month.
Yeah, something stupid like that. I think Xbox are at that level now.
Yeah, I would agree.
Like the amount of content they're going to be pumping out, I do not see how a simple Game Pass subscription is going to be viable unless it's ridiculously expensive. But who knows? I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. Like games are so incredibly expensive to make, and they're only going to get more expensive. And Xbox now has to make dozens and dozens and dozens of additional games, funding multiple dozens of studios, funding thousands and thousands of individual developers. They have lots of money, Microsoft. They aren't going to just bleed money forever.
Yeah.
They're not happy to do that. So there's going to be a tipping point, and it just depends on how far they rock the boat. I don't know.
It's just interesting to kind of look at like how PlayStation is doing things versus like how Xbox is doing things. And I don't mean to like compare as in like competition. It's just like the business models and stuff like that are interesting to kind of watch unfold as time goes on, and we see like them not completely diverge from each other, but start to increase the differences.
Yeah, I mean, like feasibly from like a PR and arguably in some people's minds business perspective, it would behoove Sony to do some day and date stuff within first party, not necessarily everything, but they still haven't done that, and they're not going to do that.
Do you mean like the big games specifically?
Yeah, like the AAA first party stuff.
Okay, because I was going to say like Humanity and Stray I thought were really good.
Yeah, like second party deals, of course, that sort of makes sense to do those as launches. Cheer as well. But like you could argue that it makes sense for Sony to do at least like a couple of titles here and there from first party.
I don't think they're going to.
No, I don't want them to either. But it shows that they haven't bent the knee, because to be competitive with Game Pass, that is the kind of thing they need to do. And they haven't done that yet, because they know that business-wise, one, it just wouldn't work for them and who they are as a company and the money that they have. But
the moment that they do one game, I feel like that's like they've lost, right?
And also, once you do one game, you're going to have an expectation from the entire consumer base that is bought into that service to expect that for most games, if not all. And that's where Xbox have pigeonholed themselves. Like, do we ever envision a future where Xbox says this first party title is not day one on Game Pass?
No.
And I don't mean like Call of Duty, because like those are technically first party now because they're under Xbox, but like separate entity. I mean, any, like, let's say Hellblade 2. Could you ever envision a future where they are like, that is a $70 purchase, you don't get it day one? It might come 6 months later or a year later.
I can envision it, but I don't think it's going to be for a very long time.
Unless Game Pass starts crumbling.
Well, that's what I'm saying is I think it's going to take quite some time for Game Pass to crumble. But
they haven't reported numbers in 2 years, you know?
That's true. Okay.
So,
well, ready? You guys ready for the next one? Sam, do you want to read it or do you want me to?
I can read it.
Okay.
There is a new Spider-Man 2 patch, which brings, quote, flag fixes, amongst other things. So version 1.00, 1.003. I know exactly what that means. That is now live in the game. What?
You have to know what that means.
I mean, it's just numbers, isn't it? So I don't know why it's 001 and 003. Like,
I don't know why the extra zeros, but it's not that. It's like the first, it's a third.
Yeah, I know
okay.
that.
Okay.
And it's like the third sub patch, smaller thing,
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's now live in game, and it brings a few fixes to the game, including the aforementioned flag issue and the seemingly quite prevalent white cube issue. For people that don't know, the flag issue is that in Miles Morales' apartments, they incorrectly put in the Cuban flag as opposed to the flag of Puerto Rico, which of course is Miles' correct heritage. And people were quick to call them out on it, rightly so. A bit of an oversight there. So it's now been switched back to the Puerto Rico. Like, I get it because the flags are practically the same. It's just different colors in different places, but still, that is a bad thing to mess up. And then the white cube issue was an issue where models would not properly load, particularly after long play sessions. And instead of a nice, fully detailed Miles Morales or a Peter Parker, you just be a little white square jumping and running around.
That sounds like actually awesome.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of videos of it online that you can find. It is quite amusing. The other two things, there was an issue where the technically spoilers for one suit in the game. It's not a big deal, but the Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit from the film, the aforementioned the titular the film with the same name. The spider logo on that apparently appeared too bright. I will say, since this patch, I've also gone into the game, checked out that suit because I enjoy wearing it. And I think they have actually done more than just changing the brightness of the logo. I think they have actually tweaked the design of the suit a little bit, so that the webbing on the red stuff particularly looks a bit better. But I mean, I don't think it was said in the patch notes or anything, so I could be wrong, but it does look different to me. I should know. I've played enough of the game. Alongside improved stability, Insomniac did put out an official statement alongside the patch saying, quote, today's patch corrects an error where the Cuban flag was incorrectly displayed instead of the Puerto Rican flag. We understand that accurate representation matters and greatly regret this error. We sincerely apologize and will do better in the future. Which is like good on them, I think, to actively acknowledge it, to apologize publicly, because Insomniac have always been a very inclusive studio, not only in terms of the community that they have as developers themselves, but the games that they make and the representation that they demonstrate. And without spoilers, that continues in various ways in Spider-Man 2. So I expect nothing less from them, but it's good that they fixed it as quickly as they did.
Mm-hmm.
You playing Spider-Man 2 yet, Bree?
Sure.
So convincing.
You won't believe it, but I haven't been playing anything because of how jet lagged I've been.
You know, if there's any excuse, that's a pretty good one.
Are you back to normal yet? No.
I think like being there was like the jet lag when we went was like a lot worse than it was like coming back, because you're basically just going back to like what your normal schedule is. I think I'm mostly okay. Like I think that like I'm basically on my normal schedule at this point. I do sometimes get like tired at random times, but yeah, mostly okay. So
Cool.
next one. Or did you guys want to say more about the Spider-Man 2 patch?
The white cube stuff was funny. That's just what I want to add.
Have either of you guys, like, neither of you experienced that?
No, all 3 of my playthroughs, I haven't had a single bug.
Oh, I had 2 bugs though. I had a hard crash. That was nice.
Oh.
And the other time, what happened? It was there was a fight with Sandmen, and one of the enemies was under, like, fully submerged in a pile of sand, but it's still registered as a live enemy being hostile. But I couldn't hit it because it was under the sand. But the encounter wouldn't end because it still detected an enemy that's still hostile.
Oh, that sounds annoying.
Could you not like use one of the gadgets to like pull them out?
So I probably should have done. Eventually, he wandered to the edge of the dune, of the tiny little sand dune, where his head peeped out, and then I started hitting the hell out of it. And then eventually, I KO'd him, but I had to bait him out for like 3 minutes.
You probably could have restarted checkpoint as well, probably.
Yeah.
That would have been too easy.
I'm not smart.
We don't enjoy easy solutions.
I also thought it was just kind of funny, so I went with it.
Yeah, that's why I do enjoy like those like goofy, silly,
but
like
that's the bug. I love them.
Bugs. Yeah, I feel like if I had gotten the cube issue, like I think I probably would have lost it. Like I would have been cry laughing. Like that feels like so silly. Where you're just
you ever played Gary's Mod? Prop Hunt.
I own
basically,
it. Yeah. And I've watched people play it, but I've never actually played it myself.
Yeah, Prop Hunt was big like 10 years ago. So
yeah,
I played so much Prop Hunt back in the day, so much.
It's so
and
fun.
Whatever the murderer one was,
Mhm.
Can't remember what the name of the game mode was.
Good stuff.
Times. All right. Next one.
Okay. Sony producer Connie Booth is no longer with PlayStation. Sony has confirmed that Connie Booth has departed PlayStation following this week's rumors. In a statement to Axios, Sony said Booth, quote, helped drive the success PlayStation Studios is experiencing today, and her passion is fostering an environment where a team's creative vision could fully flourish, has left a positive impact on many game developers. We're thankful for Connie's numerous contributions to the company and wish her the best in future endeavors, the company said. Booth's departure marks the end of a 34-year-old run at Sony, which began in 1989, and in a higher-up capacity in 1995 as an executive producer. Since 1998, Booth has had 4 roles under the production development umbrella at Sony, which has included director, senior director, vice president, and senior vice president, head of internal production. This is from Tom Henderson at Insider Gaming.
This is bad. This is bad.
Do you think she left for like she's upset with PlayStation reasons, or just like dumb?
I don't know for a fact. I've heard speculation that she left.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know that. So like I'm not going to speak as a voice of authority, but I also at the same time wouldn't necessarily take this fully at face value. Like, similar to Jim Ryan, where like has had a long run at Sony and PlayStation, so it would make sense for them to leave. But as far as I knew, Connie Booth was pretty happy with the job. Not that I know
Yeah.
personally or anything.
So did you see the stuff that David Jaffe said?
Yeah. I mean, he's been one of the voices that obviously he
Okay.
has a lot of insider connections and stuff. There's
Okay.
speculation that it was due to conflicting ideas on the live service push and things like that. But even if it's not, even if it is just face value, Connie is no longer at PlayStation.
Still not
This is
good.
bad.
Yeah.
Not like doom and gloom thing, but if you look at the credits that Connie has as a producer, you name a PlayStation game in the last 2 decades, particularly that you've liked, she will have produced it or had some kind of producing role. So in no small part, Connie Booth has probably played a big factor in your life, in your childhood, whatever, if you've been a part of the PlayStation ecosystem for a long time. And she's obviously very good at it. So it's a huge blow and a loss regardless, particularly because more so than anything, she was the lead producer for almost every single Insomniac game. And considering how on fire Insomniac have been, I'm not inferring that Insomniac are going to go down the drain now that she's not there to produce, but to think of what could have been if that excellent powerhouse dynamic duo persisted. But yeah, I hope we do find out the ins and outs of what happened, but we probably won't.
We probably won't. I mean, there's been a couple of people that I've wanted to like, hey, what happened? Guess we may never know.
I'm sad. Taylor, make me happy.
I don't know this person. Hopefully they're not that important.
Did you listen to a damn word I just said?
Yeah, it sounds like they're pretty important. I'm just joking. Yeah, she's also like, she was there for 34 years. She must be nearing the end of her career. So I guess what I'm trying to say is if she left on her own, it's her decision.
Yeah.
If she didn't, I don't think she'll have much of an issue finding a new job.
100%. Very good point.
Sorry, in terms of its impact, I understand she has role executive producer, but I don't really know what that means. So she has a lot of credits. I just don't know to the extent of her involvement in a lot of the marquee games we had recently. I don't know to the extent of her involvement in the project management and planning for all of the AAA games we've had over the past 10 years. It seems like it's significant on paper, but
producers are huge.
Yeah.
Games can't exist without producers.
All right. So yeah, no bueno, but I think things will be all right.
Like head of internal production. That's a that's a meaty role. You're leading internal development.
All right. Well, I think. All right. This might seem like a insensitive thing to say. As long as the developers are making good video games, I think things will be okay.
And are treated fairly.
I think things will be okay. Maybe there's a big project management timeline thing, and she was a major player in making sure we kept things on schedule while not having crunch. I don't know how much of that is a top down from her role versus an internal culture at the developer. So as long as whatever culture, I guess, was there between, if she helped instill a culture of productivity with healthiness, as long as that culture is preserved, I don't think I care who replaces her or how that role is approached, as long as that still occurs. Maybe I'm completely wrong, and there's a lot of project management that is going off the rails now, but a machine like PlayStation, it's hard for me to believe they would keep that role vacant for long.
You would also hope that in lieu of her leaving, whatever kind of framework Connie and her team had in place, they don't upend the entire apple cart and they keep the procedure in which Connie executed her role. they keep that the same, so that as much of that production stuff stays the exact same despite her leaving. But I guess time will tell, which is scary.
When the crazy thing is like with a role, like his producer is very much like a background role. They're not very like in the spotlight. I don't know if we'll ever truly know the effects of her not being at PlayStation. Like, I don't think that we'll be able to like directly correlate like this is because, you know, she's no longer with PlayStation because everything is done in the background. So
Sure.
we'll never know. Just like Tootsie Pops.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Wait, like how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop?
Sure.
Do you know what I'm talking about, Taylor?
Yes. Saw the commercial.
Okay. World may never know.
That's a very old commercial, actually. Like it's 40
really
years old.
I'm secretly 40 years old.
Right.
Don't I look it?
Right.
That's a bait question if I've ever heard one.
Okay. Very exciting next story. Taylor, do you want this one?
Okay.
You don't have to.
No. I want to talk about it.
Okay, yeah.
Apparently,
That's what I
Spider-Man games and Wolverine share the same universe. And the kind of funny spoiler cast, the creative director, Spider-Man 2, Brian Intihar, answered that, quote, they're all 1048 when asked if it had been clarified that they're different Marvel characters shared the same universe. Now, when he says they're all 1048, does that mean we're on like Earth 1048? What is 1048? Okay. Yeah. Creative director Brian Horton, who headed Miles as a director and now Wolverine, quote tweeted the news with hashtag Worlds Collide, implying a potential crossover in the future, whether it's Wolverine itself or a future title. All right. And we're going to talk about Daredevil in a second. So I'm going to pose it here. Are we headed for a video game MCU?
Is that just your blanket question?
Well, are we headed for a video game MCU with an Insomniac version of Avengers? Well, maybe I'll pose that to you because I have questions. Number one, how many different types of heroes are they going to tie into the same universe? Number two, will they cross over in an Avengers-like title?
I also have many questions.
I'm going to say, that's technically I could answer yes and no to those questions. I think it's clear now that they are not necessarily actively building towards something, but they are building out something. Where we now know Spider-Man Miles Morales, Spider-Man 2, Wolverine, they are all set in the same universe. Therefore, you can logically deduce that any future Marvel games that Insomniac specifically produces will be in that same universe. So inevitable Spider-Man 3, potentially something else that they do in the future, whether it's a Wolverine sequel or something else. I don't know that there's going to be, and you didn't necessarily specifically ask this, I don't know that there's going to be another developer that leans into this universe specifically. I think, like Guardians from Eidos Montreal, or I was going to say Avengers from Crystal Dynamics, but that's a bad example. And we wouldn't want that anyway. I don't think that's going to happen, where like a lot of different developers underneath Marvel games are building into this one thing that culminates in a big crossover. Would be interesting, but I think that's so hard to execute and even harder to get right that I just don't think they want to give themselves that headache. But having Insomniac just get all the toys that they want, not forced to including anything, but getting all the toys they want into their sandbox and doing interesting things, I think that is incredibly exciting.
I bet that whether this is just an expansion or turns into something bigger depends on how Wolverine does.
Oh, it's
'Cause
going to
if-
be great.
It's going to do well.
If Wolverine does really well, then there's no reason for them to not expand further, whether it's through Insomniac or another studio.
They don't have to. It's okay for things.
They don't have to. They don't have to. But I'm
yeah,
just saying,
it'll print money.
I bet that they're waiting to see like how it does.
Dude, I want the gritty. I want the blood. Give me the gore. Give me the dismemberment. Give me Logan Wolverine. Okay, for the love of God, please.
I still think that, I mean, it's practically a foregone conclusion that Wolverine is going to do well. And I don't think that that is like a determinant factor, because Insomniac have proven themselves 3 times now with the Marvel license, and you know, incorporating, even if it's just references and Easter eggs to a wider universe. I think that they have the cachet with Marvel games now, where it's like, they've made so much money. They've been critically well received by fans and critics. So I think anything that Insomniac Games want to do at this point, they can do. And I think that they probably have stuff in the pipeline right now that we don't know about, Marvel related. So yeah, I mean, there's so many references to like, not spoilers, but there's the Avengers Tower in the Spider-Man games. There is the Wakandan embassy in the Spider-Man games. The Baxter building for the Fantastic Four is in the Spider-Man games. Nelson and Murdoch are referenced. There is lots of things that I also will not say. The Sanctum Sanctorum is in the Spider-Man games, the Doctor Strange place.
Oh, right.
So
yeah,
they have so many places that they could go, and they've already set up potentially so much stuff. So the oyster is theirs, I think. I don't think that they're going to let other developers come into Insomniac's universe, because I think that they're worried about screwing that up. And they'll just let Insomniac have their own thing. If another developer wants to make a Marvel game, that's fine, but it'll just be their own interpretation in their own universe. Of course, it could be like, there could be references between games and little winks and nods at other studios' interpretations, but I don't think they're going to intrinsically connect together necessarily.
My poor brain. I am like, I have so many questions in my brain. I have to write these down. Sorry, my brain is like frying right now.
That's all right. It's a lot to get head around.
Well, okay, so 1048 is not the MCU universe, right?
No.
That's a different one. Yeah, I just Googled it and I just like ended up down a rabbit hole where they have 2 numbers for the MCU, and I just got really confused.
All the comics are like 6/6. Classic comics are like 6/16.
Yeah, but then it's saying that it's Earth. Oh my God, 199,999.
It's just 10,999. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, so that's I got really confused there. Before we do move on, just because I want to understand, Miles Morales, I know it's like a full standalone game, but like, is it like a full standalone game, or is it like a smaller game?
A smaller
I mean,
standalone.
it's a smaller game, but it's a full narrative arc. It's a story in and of itself.
Okay.
Functionally, okay, not plot wise, but functionally, what Uncharted Lost. Well, I don't know. You didn't play Uncharted 4 in Lost Legacy? So.
No.
Actually, it's still different, because Lost Legacy is a throw. No. Okay, I'm gonna shut up. Okay, it's a standalone experience that builds on the plot points of Spider-Man 2018. I would call it. It's not a spin-off. Is it would you call Miles a sequel, Sam?
I would.
I think it is, even though Spider-Man 2 is also a sequel.
Yeah.
Spider-Man 2 is a sequel to Miles Morales.
In the same way that this episode is 66 point whatever, and in the same way that there's a Lion King 1.5, I think.
Don't get me started on Lion King, please.
I think I think it is, and like I'm not just saying that, but Brian Interhall, I can't remember which spoiler casty interviewee thing he was on, but he said he does internally think that Miles is Spider-Man 2.
Okay. So it's not as big of an experience as the first Spider-Man game.
No, you
but
could
it's
beat,
but it's
still
still
a full
quintessential
experience.
to
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
if you mainlined Miles, you could
Interesting.
beat it in a
So
day.
so
Easily.
then Wolverine isn't going to be the same kind of experience that Miles is, right?
We have
Wolverine
no
will be
idea.
Yep.
whole
It'll
other
like-
It could
game,
be. It could be. I mean, yeah. Again,
think
you
it'll
saying
likely be a
whole
full-
game. It's like,
Well-
well, Miles is a whole game
right?
with
But it's
brand new
short.
mechanics and enemies.
I'm under the
and-
impression Wolverine will be on the order of a 15-ish hour experience like Spider-Man 2018 and Spider-Man 2, unless said otherwise. I don't expect further Insomniac Marvel titles to be in the scope of Miles. I expect them also because we're not building on. Wolverine is a new hero in
Right.
Insomniac's games. I don't think it will be relegated to an experience with the brevity of Miles. Miles is a new character, but he's not new to the Spider-Man universe, and
He played a pivotal role in the
He-
first
he-
game as well.
played a pivot. Yeah, he wasn't just another. He has the pedigree of being involved with Spider-Man. Wolverine's a clean slate, so I don't think Insomniac will make it a shorter title because of that.
Where is Wolverine based? I have never seen anything Wolverine.
Where's Wolverine from?
Like
I'm not-
like how this is like a New York-ish kind of.
It's not going to be in New York.
I think
They
it'll be
haven't
in the
confirmed
mountains.
that, but I'm almost 100% certain it's not going to be in New York.
Okay.
I think it'll be likely in the mountains. Okay, I haven't read the comics, so this could be way
He's a mountain man?
inaccurate. But at least in like in X-Men Origins, it showed him being a mountain
That's a
man.
really bad
It's
place
gonna
to
be-
draw
all right.
information from. That is
Right.
a really
But
bad
he did
place to
okay.
draw.
He's still not a city guy. Okay, I think I can say that with confidence.
Wolverine is someone who, as far as I know, with not extensive but decent comic knowledge, is in a lot of iterations he is obviously a mutant, part of X-Men.
Yeah.
Who has the bone claws and a slowing age factor, so he can like heal himself, but that also means he ages slower. So he typically, from my understanding, similar to what you see in Origins kind of stuff, he does start out 1800s ish. Real name James Howlett, ages up some point in the 20th century. Sorry, not 8th. Yeah, some point in the 20th century, he gets recruited into a weapon testing program. They convert his entire skeleton into this special metal, which is why he has the metal claws.
Adamantium.
And yeah, then he breaks out because he was going to be turned into like a weapon for hire, but he breaks out and then eventually by hook or crook meets up with the X-Men, and that's that.
So we don't know at what point this game is taking place, like in his
No.
timeline.
No,
Okay.
all we have is the teaser trailer that they put out in the showcase a few years back. They haven't officially given any other details besides that.
Okay.
So I've been looking.
My guess would be Madripoor is the place that's set, which is a fictional in the comics Southeast Asian-y city, similar to like a Tokyo or something like that. Bit grittier than that, though. A bit grittier.
Fictional island.
Criminal underbelly kind of stuff.
So
that's where I would wager it is, because he's in a bar in the teaser trailer. Lots of teasers and hints and stuff on the wall in the bar.
Hulk.
Kind of thing. Hulk is technically referenced.
Yeah. And I saw. So he's from Alberta, Canada, according to the Marvel.
Yeah, he's Canadian. Yeah.
Yeah.
1897.
Yeah. So actually, and how this tracks with X-Men Origins, it's actually not that far away. Apparently, he was abducted for Weapon X.
Yeah.
He didn't. When you say Sam, you said recruited. No, he was kidnapped.
Did I say recruited?
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
So that's a slip.
It's the same thing. Kidnapping and recruiting, it's the same thing.
Yeah. There's also like very different flavors. So there's like X-Men yellow jumpsuit version of Logan. of Wolverine. And then
No way
there's
they're doing that version.
then there's like, well, they could be. Then there's
They
old
could
man,
be, but no.
and there's Old Man. What's the more gritty Old Man Logan, where Logan's on his own, he's older, and Logan.
I mean, he's going to have costumes in the game.
He's gonna have costumes, right? So I guess what I'm trying to say is, no matter which piece of comics you reference him in, Logan and Wolverine is a tragic character.
Yeah,
and it's and Insomniac. It's up to Insomniac to make sure that's portrayed well.
If I can simp for him, if they make him attractive, I will probably be playing this game.
They'll make him attractive, dude. Well, if you're okay with some mutton chops,
I may be able to get over it. It depends on how attractive they are.
okay. Well, you'd like Hugh Jackman's Wolverine?
For the most part, I think it depends, but yeah, for the most part,
chances are he won't be that far off. It's like how similar Peter is in Spider-Man to Tom Holland.
Okay. Thank you guys for answering my questions. I just had lots of questions because I'm so far.
Oh, also Bree, just one more thing.
This.
Hugh Jackman is 6 foot. I believe he's 6 foot or 6'1" or 6'2". Wolverine is 5
Very
foot
short.
in the comics is 5'3", and he's almost 200 pounds, and he's
Short
ripped
king
before the adamantium. After, he's 300 pounds because his bones are metal now. So
Damn.
This man is a 5'3" tank.
Little ankle biter.
Wait, that's still taller than me. How dare you?
How dare you? Right.
To round us out with the Marvel news, there is a potential. Oh God, here we go. Daredevil DLC.
Give me
spin-off game.
Give me
coming from Insomniac.
Give it to me.
The only information we have thus far, it's very nebulous, but Brian Intar, creative director on Spider-Man 2, appeared on the IGN spoiler cast, and one person on the panel noted how in Spider-Man 2, as in Spider-Man 1 and Miles Morales, there was a nice little plaque on a wall in the Hell's Kitchen district that referenced Nelson and Murdoch, which, for people who don't know, is the law firm that Murdoch, as in Matt Murdoch, who is Daredevil, works alongside his partner. That plaque is still there in Spider-Man 2, but it's blank, so it's not there. And there is an eviction notice in the window of the front door. Somebody asked, is the fact that the plaque is now blank, is that intentional or was it an oversight? Brian took a few minutes, and he was fighting a smile. If you watch the video, he's sort of smirking and he keeps fighting it and bringing it back down. So he knows something. And he said, quote, "Stay tuned. Good find though." So I noted that obviously with the confirmation of Wolverine being set in the same universe, and there's lots of teases of heroes and teams in terms of Easter eggs in Spider-Man 2. So it seems potentially that Insomniac's universe is going to be even bigger than we thought, and it might happen even sooner than we're expecting. Could you imagine, Taylor? Could you imagine Game Awards this year? Insomniac logo flashes up. We're like, oh, cool. It's going to be in the next look at Wolverine. We got screamer sticks coming in. We've got the red sonar coming out. We've got the horns. And it says March 2024.
Well, to coincide with Born Again, when is that releasing? Isn't it March?
No, God, no. They've completely restarted work on that show. They've scrapped everything.
What? No,
trust me. It's for the better. It's for the better.
It's like 2026 now.
No, it's probably 2025. They had some creative stuff. Like apparently he didn't suit up until like halfway through the show.
Not allowed.
And the show's, remember, like 18 episodes. That's like what are you doing?
Right. And anyway,
they're bringing in the people who worked on The Punisher. So
oh, I saw that. Okay.
Brutal Netflix vibes.
Daredevil. Man, Daredevil's spinoff. I can't think of a much more pure melee character in Marvel than Daredevil.
Exactly.
I mean, he doesn't have claws like Wolverine. He doesn't have webs. He doesn't have super strength, so he can't just hit people inflict them like a twig like the Hulk can.
Yeah.
I would say he doesn't even have Captain America's shield. He has his sticks. But yes, I would love that. Bree, you must watch the Daredevil series.
We'll get to it, Taylor. Don't worry. Don't panic. It's on the list. It's going to happen.
And season 1 of Punisher.
Maybe.
Season 2 is.
We're only going to tackle the actual important stuff.
Daredevil's
the superfluous stuff that can come after the fact.
Season 1 of Jessica Jones is also necessary.
I mean, is it though? Because she's not in the MCU yet, is she?
Well, technically,
of course, at some point, I will tell Bree to watch that because it's an excellent first season. But in terms of setting up and prepping for other things, we don't need it yet.
I guess you do need Daredevil, though. You want to get a certain reference to a certain movie.
Hence why I've said we will watch it.
Yeah.
Don't panic, Taylor.
I'm going to panic.
It's going to happen.
The Adventures of Froggy Nelson, actually. It'll be...
I mean, and thinking about it, not only does it make sense because, like you say, melee-focused hero, etc., but on my previous point of Insomniac really liking to do representation stuff,
he's blind. Yeah,
exactly. Being able to tell a story in the same way that they do with, Miles and Peter. But with that kind of perspective. I mean, the Haley is a character in Spider-Man, the deaf girl from Miles Morales, who returns in Spider-Man 2. She's a character, and they do very good representation with her, as far as I'm concerned. So I think all the boxes are ticked. It makes sense across the boards.
Yeah.
It's just, is it actually happening? Or was this Brian going what? Because that answer saying stay tuned, good find though, that could so easily also just be interpreted as, oh yeah, good spot. Okay, so in the next patch we'll make sure that the text is there because it's a slip up and we didn't mean to.
No, he would say we'll fix that. I don't think he would say stay tuned.
What? But don't forget, he has to be so coy because saying something that is still relatively nebulous.
Right, that's saying we'll fix that is a commitment, or
exactly,
it's implying an action. Stay tuned,
and also it then rejects the idea of what they could or could not be working on. So, he was being incredibly coy about even the idea of a Spider-Man 3, which is it's a foregone conclusion. Obviously, that's going to happen.
I'm excited to see that.
How that's suggested. To not say something like this, which would be a major reveal. I'm still not 100% convinced. I think something's going to happen, but I also wouldn't be surprised if tomorrow I wake up and I see the latest patches added in the sign again, and they're again knowingly posting a tweet out going oops, sorry, they're okay, they're back where they're meant to be. Yeah, but I hope not. I hope it is something more.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a good idea to skip the next 2 stories, if that's okay with people, and then move on to
get
questions.
Out of here.
Yeah. This drive attachment will require internet, and I think that's the only thing worth noting. So sorry, game preservationists. Yeah. All right, we have listener questions from Kevin. After Spider-Man, what's your most anticipated PlayStation exclusive, and why is it Stellar Blade? After Spider-Man 2. Where's the list again?
What list?
PlayStation exclusive 2024.
I mean, we know of Concord, Fair Games, Wolverine, Death Stranding 2. If we want to.
Wait, you think Wolverine's till 20? Okay, then this is an easy. Kevin, if Wolverine comes. Well, no, this is a simple question.
I mean,
my most anticipated PlayStation exclusive next is Wolverine. Besides Wolverine, out of the Insomniac scope, it's probably Rise of the Ronin. That's a console exclusive, right?
Yeah.
Wait, no, Stellar Blade looks really good too. But I think both of those games look excellent. All right. but Wolverine is top dog right now for me.
Hmm.
And actually, yeah, I haven't played Final Fantasy VII Remake. I know maybe a popular answer, or maybe I think for Kevin, the answer might be Rebirth.
Sure.
But that's still TBD for me. I bought the original Final Fantasy VII, have it on my Switch. I think I'm just gonna play Remake, guys. All right. Turn-based is cool, but like Remake exists. So, but I need to play Control and Alan Wake Remastered first. No, Alan Wake 2 first. Of course. Anyway, I'll shut up. Bree, you're muted.
Awkward. I'm looking forward to Stellar Blade as well, but I do think I'm looking forward to Silent Hill 2.
Ooh, is that an exclusive?
Hmm.
Is that confirmed?
Yeah,
I don't
for
know.
console, yeah.
Console.
Yeah.
Good pick.
So it's console. It will be on PC and PlayStation 5.
Bloober Team though.
I really liked whatever the freaking game it was called.
Medium.
There we go.
Kevin likes it
I
too.
liked it. I didn't
You and
like the camera, but I liked the game. Kevin and I aren't allowed to agree on anything, so don't say that.
Yeah, I was about to say,
Just
Bree,
kidding.
that's I can't do that.
No, yeah, I think that of the stuff, actually, that's not true. Of the stuff that we know of, there was that really cool game that we saw a trailer for this summer, and I can never remember the name of it.
Phantom Blade Zero. That's one I'm really into. Or is that what it's called? Phantom Blade Zero? Phantom Zero?
Yeah,
Googling.
Blade-
Yes, that one.
Oh,
That's
good.
probably most anticipated.
I am very excited to see what the hell that is.
It's coming from a mobile developer though, so I mean, not that that's a prerequisite, but I am. How much of that is like what am I actually doing with the controller in those cool looking moments?
Okay.
Sam, if they developed Infinity Blade, for those who remember, the AAA mobile game experience,
Infinity Blade
from like 2010. Let's see. No, it's Phantom Blade. What if it's the same dev? What if it's the same dev? I don't know.
Finding out that you could do that like negative mode in Infinity Blade was like the craziest thing in the world for me. I love that game so much. I played that game so much. I will say the main character's hair is white, so I'm in.
All right.
I'm very simple.
I'm going to take this question a little more open-ended because there's no what's your most anticipated announced PlayStation exclusive.
Ooh,
there's
good
no
point.
what's your most anticipated PlayStation exclusive for next year.
Bloodborne 2.
No, he's going to say Resistance or some shit.
No, I'm not, because I'm not going to get my hopes up. You know, that dream is dead. It's going to sound stupid and biased and recency bias. I'm going to say Spider-Man 3.
Oh wow, you bandwagon.
Because like technically, I'm going to count that as announced because like it's going to happen.
Hey, I don't know that. I haven't finished the game. You don't know that.
I wonder, this thing that prints money for Sony, I wonder whether they're going to get them to make another one with like the most famous Marvel character there is.
And then it's all going to fall apart like the MCU after Endgame.
Yeah.
Wait, is Spider-Man really the most popular character?
By far.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I didn't know that.
Spider-Man, as we discussed last episode, Bree, Marvel's Spider-Man is the best-selling PS4 game.
No, best-selling PlayStation game.
I heard
in general.
PlayStation exclusive.
Sure.
Yeah, ever.
I listened.
What?
I said I listened to the episode. I know, but I just meant like in general, like Marvel in general.
Yeah, I think Spider-Man's top dog, and then after that might be, well,
Spider-Man 2099.
Hulk. You know, Iron Man's popularity is skyrocketed because of the MCU, but other than that, it might be Captain America.
I would say outside of Spider-Man, it's probably a toss-up between Iron Man because of the MCU, or Wolverine.
Yeah. All right, but anyway, so Spider-Man 3, Sam, that's your.
But I will throw in one more in terms of what I actually am most anticipating that hasn't been announced. Whatever Cory Barlog is doing.
Oh yeah, whatever Santa Monica's conjuring up.
Whatever he thought was more worthwhile that had him choose to step away from God of War and wrapping up his story there. whatever he's cooking, that's what I am most anticipating. Particularly if it's a sci-fi IP, as it's suggested it might be.
Why would it be suggested? Or what evidence, or why was it suggested it's sci-fi? From where?
Because the game that they were working on when God of War Ascension came out, when that got bad reviews, the game they were working on was a sci-fi game, a new IP. That got cancelled, and then obviously they did 2018. So there's that they were already doing a sci-fi game, so they could return to that, or at least take some stuff and build a new thing. But also, I don't know if it's still the case. If you go to Corey Barlog's Twitter, for at least a fair period of time, his header, banner, whatever, was a satellite in space, and his bio was Morse code, and the Morse code was like transmission incoming or something. So like, and a lot of insiders have been like, Santa Monica is working on something that's science fiction. So
I'm here for it. Give me Interstellar the game. Well, then we have Starfield.
But with the storytelling of God of War, absolutely. Give me that. Yes.
Hans Zimmer. Can they bring in Hans Zimmer to do the OST?
Dude, could you imagine? Whew.
Granted, Bear McCreary could do an excellent job.
Of course.
As he has done.
And I imagine that he probably would be drafted in just because of the relationship they have. But
yeah. Awesome. Excellent choice.
Yeah.
Mort the Chicken too. That's not a PlayStation exclusive, huh?
I love Mort the Chicken.
Yeah.
Such a good game.
I know.
Let's have a Mort the Chicken Resistance crossover.
I'd rather.
If that's what it takes for me to get more resistance, fine. I'll take a Barbie crossover.
Sam, you're desperate.
Barbie? Great. Don't throw Barbie under the bus.
Bree's being very Barbie right now, too.
Sorry, what's your favorite Barbie game, Bree?
Barbie Horse Adventure on Xbox.
I wasn't expecting you to have an answer.
My favorite Barbie game.
Take that, Sam.
I haven't played a Barbie game. I saw the movie twice.
There is a horse adventure on what was it? 3DS?
Tamagotchi. Okay.
That one was good as well, but it wasn't as good. The Xbox Barbie adventure where you just like rode horses through the wilderness. 10 out of 10. Sam, do you regret asking the question yet? I win.
There you go.
I also had a Barbie tree when I was a little kid. My Christmas tree that I decorated was like a little pink Barbie tree.
Okay. Well, actually, if you like Barbie, maybe you'll like
Watch
Gravity.
The Barbie movie.
Maybe you'll like Gravity Rush. Maybe.
Really?
I get to play. I need to play Gravity Rush, right?
That feels like a weird reference.
Why would you like Gravity Rush?
I don't know. I just think it's
a solution. You know what? If you really like Barbie, you'd love Manhunt. You'd love Gears of War 2.
Call of Duty.
I'm so intrigued by that thought process. How did you come to that deduction?
I was like, okay, this is really all right. I'm gonna out myself here. I'm like, what video game is the protagonist portrayed as a feminine woman? And then I thought of Gravity Rush.
Why not Catherine?
Catherine's also misogynistic, so I don't talk about Catherine.
Oh.
I mean, is Barbie misogynistic? Maybe.
Well, we have the Barbie movie, so we've ironed that out.
Not in the year of our Barbie movie.
Yes, the answer is yes. But now we have a more, what's the word? Grounded view and at least they're self-aware now. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's because Mattel's still making Barbies.
Honestly, I think Sam's just upset because he doesn't have a Mojo Dojo Casa house.
Mojo Dojo Casa house, true.
I don't know what that means.
So, Casa
I don't need it explained.
Casa
I'd rather it
house
just be
Spanish. And in the movie, Ken turned what he was living in to basically a frat house, and he called it his Mojo Dojo. Casa house. Casa means house. So
I hope you know
really
I'm not
and
listening.
dojo
even slightly
is
to what you're saying.
Dojo is like it's not a is a form of a building. So it was basically saying my mojo building house.
Yeah.
Or my building
Sublime.
training house.
Sounds like cinema.
Studio
to me.
house. Yeah.
What is that line that he says that like my non-committal
Sublime.
whatever girlfriend? Oh, dude, I love that as well.
My non-committal, yeah, whatever he says.
What does Ken?
Sam, you still haven't seen
ask?
it?
No.
I think it's worth a watch. Oh yeah, and I reflected on it. I think Oppenheimer is a much better film.
Long-term, long-distance, low-commitment, casual girlfriend.
So it'd be a World of Warcraft girlfriend.
Yeah.
You don't even know her face. You just look at her screen name, and you might be being catfished the whole time, but you don't know.
Dude, there are so many like there's so many one lines from the Barbie movie that are like top tier. Like his whole thing, yeah, that one, and the one where he's like, as soon as I realized the patriarchy wasn't about horses, I was done.
I heard when he said sublime, it was improvised. That wasn't part of the
was.
script.
Have you seen the other ones that he's done? He did a whole bunch of takes, and some of them are so funny.
Yeah. So,
and there's also
Sam loves this. We just ruined this podcast talking about the Barbie movie.
There's also, you know, the part where they like first go into like the human world and somebody comes up behind him. Have you seen the clip where they originally had him scream because he was scared?
No.
It's so funny.
It's
that movie is brilliant. And it makes me cry.
Speaking of Barbie, Sam, what next MCU film should I see here just to round this out? Or sorry, what next MCU film coming out is even worth seeing at all?
None.
Is there a Black Panther film coming out? Something?
No. I mean, one did just come out.
Oh yeah, I didn't see that one yet.
I
didn't see that one.
Yeah, so watch that.
Deadpool 3.
Oh, actually, this is an excellent point. Wolverine's coming back. Yeah, I'm going to watch Deadpool 3. That's the only other MCU film I'm going to watch.
And not the only one coming back, Taylor.
Oh, and I need to see Multiverse of Madness. Wait,
no,
what? I don't? Oh, I don't. Wait, the only other... Wait, what's coming back? Huh?
Huh?
What are you talking about? What's coming back?
Spider-Verse is coming back in a very long time.
No. I'm talking Deadpool 3 specifically.
You said something. Yeah.
You think it's just Wolverine in that film?
Tony?
Taylor, my dear sweet.
Tony coming back?
No.
The other X-Men? What are you talking about, Sam?
I can neither confirm or deny.
I know it's Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, of course. That's who plays Wolverine.
Okay, but you're talking about someone else. Who's the other? What? Wait, no, not Toby. Not Toby.
Not Toby.
I can't say anything. I mean,
no, why would Toby come back?
If you go looking, you will find people that they have officially confirmed in the trades that are coming back.
If Toby's back and he's Bully Maguire, all right? Toby Blacksuit from the hit cinematic masterpiece Spider-Man 3 from 2007.
I'm gonna put some dirt in your eye.
Dude. So
You'll
the takeaway from
fix this
today's
damn
episode,
door.
if you like Barbie and the Barbie movie, play Gravity Rush.
Yeah, right. All right, let's just thank you all so much for listening. Wait, we still have like 3 more questions. All right, you want to do these? Make it a long episode.
Wait, you didn't know that there were other questions?
No. I put them.
I
on
thought
the
you just went on
document.
a tangent and we're like, okay, we'll circle back. I was like, what?
No, I forgot. Should we, I guess yeah.
We
or
can
it'll be a long
wait
episode.
if you want.
What do you guys want to do?
I mean, I can do them. You know,
All right, let's do it.
Answer the questions.
Are you okay, Bree?
Yeah, I'm totally fine.
All right, Kyle says, are any of you getting the PS Portal, or do you think it will just die like the PSVR 2 did?
Oh, I think it'll die harder than the PSVR 2.
Wow.
The debate is, has the PSVR 2 died?
No, it's hibernating.
Was it ever alive?
Yes,
I mean,
hibernating.
yes, it was.
I think the PSVR 2 is fine. Like, I think it's doing exactly like what the PSVR 2 should be doing. The PS Portal in my opinion, is almost like for no case
I
scenario.
think the Portal is going to sell better than the PSVR 2
So do I.
by a long shot.
Yep.
That's lame.
You know how many more people
Save your money
care-
and buy the PSVR
You
2.
know how many more people want to conveniently play their games in their hand than they do put on a headset that's
Listen.
$400 more?
I get it. Look, I have my Switch right here. I've been playing it recently. I get it. The Portal isn't really a full true handheld. Like it is, but
I thought about getting one for like half a day when I'm like, I want to play Spider-Man 2 on my way to Extra Life. Well, I could just get remote play and use attach a controller or a backbone or something. Like, or I could get a PS Portal, but I'm not doing that just for a trip. If I traveled like every 6 to 8 weeks, I was traveling. Now was just recurring in my life. I'd probably get a PS Portal.
what if you were traveling every 2 weeks?
Yeah. I don't want to lug a PS5 around with me every time I want to go places and play games.
You do have a Switch.
Yeah, but if I want to play PlayStation games.
Yeah, but what if you want to play actually good games, you know?
Oh my God. Sam, go eat paste.
You are really on a roll this episode.
Am I?
Yeah, hating on Switch, hating on Barbie.
If you like Barbie, think
Wait,
about playing Gravity Rush.
There's a critical error in PS Portal 2. Is because it doesn't have cellular data. It would be just playing it on hotel Wi-Fi. Hotel Wi-Fi,
Yeah.
I don't think can support.
It's garbage.
PS Portal.
And also, if you're traveling internationally, like getting Wi-Fi and all that stuff.
I think actually the proper solution would be me getting a backbone if it came to that.
Yeah.
I think the proper solution is to just play Zelda on your Switch.
I don't always. I'm going to play Tears of the Kingdom one day, but what if I'm not in the mood and I'm in the middle of a fantastic playthrough of Spider-Man 2?
Then play one of the million other games that are on Switch that are worth your time.
Bree.
Yeah.
I want to play all my platforms without having to, if I'm while traveling. Right?
And I'm just saying that the Portal isn't the best solution for traveling.
You're right.
Or really
it isn't.
Any scenario.
If it had cellular data, I think it would be. Like the Vita did in a brief moment. Did it not have a data plan?
Oh, I don't know.
Or was that the PSP Go? No, I feel like it was the PS Vita. There was a data option, wasn't there, Sam?
I think so.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're also not marketing this as an on-the-go thing.
No, they're really marketing
No,
it
they're
as a companion to use in your home.
And I mean, it's tracking to sell incredibly well in Japan, which makes sense.
Japan's a major mobile market.
Check that out.
Well, and also just for Sony products in general.
Yeah.
But
sorry. So basically, getting back to Kyle's question, I don't think any of us are getting it. No, and it might die, but it'll sell a hell of a lot more than the PSVR 2 does before it does die.
I'm thinking I have actively considered it on multiple occasions. I've not got anywhere close to actually like purchasing, but I've thought about it. Because I spend so much time sat here working, writing, playing the games. To be able to actually go to another part of the house and still be doing stuff, or to have that leisure where I'm just playing games for fun, but I'm able to like socially interact in a different room than this one. That's got potential for me, you know, especially considering me and my back not being as mobile as I normally am. Like it's speaking to me.
If it's
so
on
maybe
sale.
Yeah,
in a sale, I think I actually might like.
Dude, if they got this to 120, I'd give it a go. If we get some Xbox Series S level discounts on this device, I'd pick it up.
Yeah.
Or the price is slashed by it. If it was $100, I would buy it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
150,
maybe.
If it goes below 140, probably.
I also think that if this does well, I'm sure they are already having conversations about it, but I think if the Portal does well, which I'm guessing it will within context, I could see them looking at actually doing a proper handheld some point down the line. Because it is a very vibrant, lucrative market. And I imagine that's only going to increase to be the case when Switch 2 comes out. And you would imagine Xbox are probably going to do something that has Game Pass built in.
xCloud partner device or
Exactly.
Game Pass partner device. Right.
So I think that Sony will probably likely look into getting into the market regardless. But if this does well, even more so.
Right. All right. Next, Ty says, is a PlayStation reshuffle good for PlayStation with Jim Ryan and Connie Booth leaving? I don't know. It doesn't look like it's. Is this? I think the answer is it's too early to tell. Well, let me back up. No, is the leaving of these people good for PlayStation? I'm gonna say in the immediate. No, I'm gonna shut up. It's too early to tell. That's what I'm gonna say, Ty. It's too. Jim Ryan is more neutral, and Connie Booth I'm more negative on. But I just still think it's too early. I don't know who they're going to replace Connie with. I don't know her caliber of excellence to know if how difficult will it be to find someone like her for a position like hers. I don't know. And for Jim, I don't know. The CEO, as far as I'm concerned, is just a head with a name. I don't see the PlayStation CEO actually doing much functionally. And that's my view on a lot of CEOs. But
I mean, I've already said Connie is not a good thing. I think whatever way you shake it, it's not good. To lose a producer of that caliber and that prolific within PlayStation, I think it's a loss, whichever way you spin it. Jim, I'm going to say yes. My actual answer would be the same as you, Taylor, where it's too early to tell. I think Jim Ryan has done so much good for PlayStation on a business side of things. They are more successful, more profitable than they've ever been. They are set according to their tracking to have the biggest holiday season they've ever had this winter. But I think that above all else, PlayStation kind of has like an optics problem in terms of they seem more corporate, more cold, more detached compared to somebody like a Sean Layden or an Andrew House. And I think that Sony higher ups, devoid of Jim Ryan, still know. I would hope you'd think it's obvious what has brought them this success, and they aren't going to again throw the baby out with the bathwater in that regard. And hopefully, then bring in someone that is maybe a little bit more personable. Not has to be like a Phil Spencer.
Sean Layden returns.
I mean, get him out of Tencent. Like
get him out of Tencent.
Anything's better than that. I would wager that it might be Eric Lampel, the SVP that we were talking about in the first story. I think that he is a probably relatively decent, likely candidate to be boosted up to CEO. But yeah, time will tell. But I think that PlayStation has everything going right for them right now, except for optics, and getting in a fresh face might hopefully remedy that.
I agree that it's too early to tell. There's just like we don't know who's replacing them. We don't know, like, even if the person replacing them we think is a good fit, we won't know if they're going to be good in the position. Like there's too many factors here. So I know it's kind of a non-answer, but I just don't know. That's my answer.
All right. Brandon says, if you're on the positive side of the portal, what practical uses are you excited about? I think we covered this a bit. Sam's, just freedom of movement. For me, it would be traveling. That would be assuming being able to play my PlayStation games traveling without bringing a suitcase just for my PlayStation 5. However, that it would be excellent when I'm visiting home, because I know at home my internet connection is decent enough. But if I'm at a hotel, that gets dicey. Maybe a stopgap solution would be if I really need to play the Portal on the go at a hotel on a frequent basis, I would get better personal hotspot services. But yeah, I would say just being able to play PlayStation without needing to bring my console around outside of my home. Within my home, I'd always pick the console because I'm one wall away from where at my sofa and where I sit to play my games on my TV. So I have that division, which is nice, which is something that Sam City lacks.
Yeah,
Which would be nice to have.
which is again what my practical use would be, just that I'm able to get out of this room. Not that I have an issue being in here, but I just spend so much time in here that it would be refreshing to be able to multitask, to be around people more and still be able to play things maybe in a more comfortable reclining seating arrangement, something like that.
Bree, would you buy this at all? No, right? Maybe.
I don't think so. Here's my reasoning. If I was staying where I am currently, then I probably would, because then I could go downstairs and like hang out with my family and watch something. I have to do something to keep my hands busy, or I like literally can't like focus. Even if it's just playing a dumb game. I usually fix that by crocheting, but it's also nice to, kind of have that option. But I know I'm leaving here in a few months. And so by the time that like the Portal would be on sale and it would justify me buying it, I don't think I'll be living around anybody that I would like be hanging out with while playing video games. So won't need that solution anymore. So I do think that the Portal will be a miss, but mostly just because of personal circumstances, not that I think that it's a terrible thing. So, yeah.
All right. Cool. Now, with that all out of the way, thank you guys so much for listening. If you can find us on YouTube at Save the Game Media, Discord, Patreon, links are all in the show notes. And yeah, support us in Extra Life next weekend, November 4th, November 5th. Be there. We're going to be streaming. See it twitch.tv/ or is it YouTube or both at Save the Game Media. Where can people find you guys?
Anywhere and everywhere. Sam Heaney, HEA anyway.
You can find me at Fabulous Brianna, FABULISTBREANNA.
You can find me at Discord as Taylor, also known as Taylor. Formerly.
Damn, you're good.
Formerly Pee Pee Poo Poo.
Okay.
Go play Gravity Rush, people.
Yeah.
Until next time. Have a good one. Goodbye.
Bye.